Craft your own magic at the Wicked Wand Workshop. Race for glory at the Ninja Warrior Challenge. Or battle for honor at the Viking Invasion. Plus, enjoy classic favorites like live armored combat jousting. Or slay your hunger with tasty turkey legs. The Minnesota Renaissance Festival is back with new adventures. Get your discounted tickets now at select Quick Trip, Walgreens, Cub Foods, and Menards locations. Or at RenaissanceFest.com. Huzzah!
The world's preeminent undead funk ambassadors are rising from the tomb. Here comes the Mummies, an 8-piece funk rock band of 5,000-year-old Egyptian mummies with only one thing on their mind, bringing you terrifying funk from beyond the grave. It's funky, it's freaky, and it's absolutely unforgettable. Catch them September 21st at the historic Pantages Theater in downtown Minneapolis. Shake it, quake it, and get your tickets now at hennepinarts.org before the mummies vanish. Again, that's hennepinarts.org.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 68, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 85. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities and so much more. Add fresh fries or onion rings for a winning combination. Check out Maverick's on Lexington Avenue in Roseville, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Visit mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I had a little co-host here for a second, and I had to let her down because we're getting down to serious business. My co-host was my cat, Puff. And she, I hadn't heard from her literally all day. And as soon as the opening music starts, I hear this raspy, meow. And if anyone ever watched Night Court back in the 80s and the bailiff, the old woman bailiff, like the original one who was very raspy, so every time Puff meows, I think that's her. I think that's Selma, because it's just like meow, it's my last cat line. It's just a little cute little bit of a higher pitched meow, but it was nice. And this little Puff, she's just like meow, I love it. It's great. And so you may be hearing it throughout the night, because not only does she have a raspy meow, but she's loud. It's like sometimes I go look to see if she's mic'd. I mean, it's just literally just like, where do you get those vocal cords from? She could be, I'm upstairs and I can hear this meow, and it's very loud, and it's like, are you in the bedroom? And it's like, no, she's actually still downstairs. So if you do hear it, just know it's not a ghostly kitten. It's in fact my cat named Puff. We are going to have a fantastic conversation tonight, as I'm bringing back a dear friend and someone who I respect gratefully, Suzanne Worthley. She is an energy practitioner. She's an intuitive. She's a healer. She's an author. She is many things. Not trying to embarrass her or anything, but she'll talk at a level that, at least for me, is, I'm understanding more, but especially when I first met her, just talking on a very different level of things, and she shouldn't need to talk down to anybody, because this is how she sees stuff. This is the stuff that we want to hear. We need to understand. And I've never met anyone quite like Suzanne when it comes to that. And it's, we're going to do our best to keep up with her tonight. We're going to see what we can do here. But there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about here. And amongst them is alien energy. And then also, folks, if you have questions that you want to ask Suzanne as we go along, and I don't mean like one question readings or anything. I mean, it's like what we're talking about. If you have thoughts, questions, whatever, please put into the comments because I think it's going to be a great night. Suzanne, welcome back to GhostBox Radio.
Hey, thank you. I love being on here. It's good to see your face.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, yeah. I could tell it's been a long time because your hair has grown so much.
I know, right? It was almost your length, though. What, a year and a half ago? So
yeah, no, I mean, I remember you came in, and it was at one of the fairs. You came in, and it's like, you look great, but you have no hair anymore. It's just like you cut it so short, and either way, you look great. But it's just like, wow, okay, now we can log the passage of time by the growth of your hair.
And my hair. That's what my podcasts do too. I mean, my podcasts are like
whereas I've looked the same for like 45 years, but whatever.
But that's good, right? That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. So, last week I reached out to Suzanne and I asked if she wanted to be on, and she's just like, well, sure, but what do you want to talk about? And something that I've been very interested in, as Suzanne knows, I've had a journey of sorts with alien communication, alien stuff happening, and I especially want to hear from Suzanne, her point of view, her experiences about, in general, alien energy. And Suzanne, I've been thinking about this ever since we talked. Like, part of me was also like, what do I mean by that? You know what I mean? Because it's easy to say alien energy, but what does that mean? And I guess maybe I'd like to start with just, when I say that, I think I know what I mean, but when you hear me say that, what does that mean to you?
Well, actually, it's funny that you're even kicking off with that, because when you said that, I'm like, God, I wonder what he means by that. So
makes two of us.
For me, I don't necessarily use the word alien so much, especially when I talk about my own energy, because my energy field is very, I say galactic, actually, versus alien.
Yes,
so I really use the word galactic much more because my frequency is different. My memories are different. My experiences, my soul purpose is different, etc. And I kind of lump the whole thing into the galactics versus just alien, because I think that can mean a lot of things. And not always great, right? I mean, ugh.
Well, but I mean, it's interesting because when you said galactic, and Sunnybrook asked, aliens like ET or calling paranormal alien, I am absolutely talking extraterrestrial myself. And I wonder too a little bit, concepts and the feelings and the energies that you're getting has been with you pretty much your whole life. I mean, it's been with you your whole life. I don't know how long it took for you to to kind of figure it out. I guess maybe why I still call it alien is because this was, to me, a new experience, a new era starting for me. It felt like.
Yeah, I think what you're also referring to is that the energy is completely different. The energies are completely different when we're talking the galactic realms. And I say galactic because for me, that means intergalactic, multidimensional, keeps going and going and going. And obviously this includes many, many, many kinds of realms. And some of the aliens, I don't necessarily think of them looking like a gray. A lot of them look like us. A lot are humanoid and hybrid. And so I kind of usually probably lump them a little bit more into the galactic realm, but very much so. They've been with me since the beginning. I mean, I was 5 years old when I first was seeing them on my ceiling. So yeah, it's been my normal. And I think what you're finding too, Greg, is when you go into this realm, even as a worker, or you going into this realm after talking to spirit realm, it's a different frequency. It's a higher frequency. It can be kind of creepy at first because you feel like you're really out there, you can't get your head around it, much less anything else. And so I think that's what disturbs people at first, is it's literally the resonance and the frequency. So.
I've had the fortune of over the past 3 years or so and this. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it right, but this is how I see it and experience it is having the feeling of alien energy, as you just described, as well as what we would call forest person or what we'd call Bigfoot sort of energy as an interdimensional sort of figure.
Yeah.
As well then as a spirit energy. Okay, and I know there's more to the spectrum than those three, but I'm keeping it small because my learning is still. And I'll tell you, from what I've been experiencing, the alien energy, as you just said, the higher frequency is something that is unmistakable. How about that? Just totally, I think it is a totally different feeling of anything, and it's really sometimes it's scary to me, actually.
It can be really scary, especially the quantum field. And I think what you're referring to is this is an electric field. When most humans are here on planet, we're magnetized. We are connected to the earth plane. We are connected to the Mother Earth, the Schumann resonance, the frequency down here in 1, 2, and 3 dimensions. It's like, oh, this is our normal. But when you're playing around in, 5, 6, 7, 8, much less 23 and 28 or whatever, when you're going up that ladder of dimensions, the higher we go, the more infinite it becomes and the more nondescript it becomes. And then you're hitting the quantum field that works at such a fast and rapid pace that it's insanity of sorts, and yet it's completely organized chaos. And it's very disturbing sometimes. It can be very unsettling. And until you get comfortable in that realm, it feels like you don't know if you're going to find your way home. And I think that's one of the biggest fears when people start to enter this realm. Like, oh, crap, what if I go and I don't know how to get back? I mean, it's a little different than working in the earth realm with some fairies in the woods, Not that anything's better or worse. I really want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Because fairies can be kick butt too, right? I mean, we're not saying anything is better because it's higher. There isn't a value system. So make that clear.
When you're wandering into these fields, so to speak, and I'm using the term just casually, loosely, when you're wandering into the fields, these energy fields, is it ever by accident, or is it purposeful for you to, as anybody, to start being connected to these energies?
For me, it was always purposeful because it was a comfortable field that I actually remembered. So in my journey, I was connected as a child, kind of put it on the back shelf for a little while when I found out everybody else didn't see what I saw and heard what I hear. But then it came back with a force. And when I came back into my skills and my gifts again, I did a remembering process. And so it was things that were coming from my insides and coming to my surface again and going, oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah. So I did everything with purpose. I did everything with curiosity and command and practice and skills, et cetera, et cetera. So I retaught myself. Others, however, in healing sessions, sometimes, Greg, I mean, I get surprised all the time. Sometimes I will have a very earth-based client, and out of the blue, maybe they're a regular and I even see them maybe, once every couple months or something. And that third or fourth time, boom, they're up on a spaceship. And it's like, what? So we can't just say that it's always purposeful, because they will just go where they need to go when they need to go. And it sometimes surprises even me.
That's really interesting. Now in the chat, Sunnybrook had said, and I think this is actually really important. He said, I felt unmistakable feeling plenty of times. I just figured it was dark energy. Never thought it could be alien. And I think there's something to be said there, because I think that from my experience, I asked for it. I asked for what I got.
Mm-hmm.
So I accept that. But if you're not necessarily realizing what's happening, I think it could be, in my mind, I think you could mistake it as such.
I think anybody mistakes anything as dark energy when it's fear-based, because that's what we humans do, because we're programmed, right? I mean, we have been purposefully programmed to really be fear-filled of the realms that we don't know anything about, or aren't our norm, or aren't socially acceptable, etc. So when there's a fear element, usually we just automatically go, click, that must be bad stuff. So yeah, I will say for somebody like Sunny, it's important to understand that this realm has an electric base to it. It's very, it's almost like a static. It's almost like a difference. And so true dark realms, meaning, evil realms, don't have that. They have a foreboding heaviness to them. And this alien realm has a higher static almost, if that's a good word to use.
Yeah, no, I think that that's actually really good. And I think that a really good differentiator there is that oppression when it comes to the dark energies, because that is something that because dark energy is trying to I believe is trying to destroy you or trying to manipulate you, trying to do something that's outside the realm of what you hold as. Whereas in these cases with alien energy, I mean, in my case, I believe that they just were, I guess, that they were there.
I'm going to jump in and expand on that because I've had both. So I have had alien experiences that are not, we're going to use really simple words here. Keep up with me, Greg. We're going to use really simple words like the bad aliens. I've had situations where I'm doing, multi-dimensional work or cosmic grid work that pisses off some alien realms out there. Most oftentimes the Dracos or the Draconians. And I have literally felt them impede into my room and take on this feeling of actual anger and scary and icky and yuck. And it's my right as a worker and as a human to call out my space. And I call them on that. I call them out and say, hey, you were not invited into this room. This is lockdown. This is a working room. By command of universal law, you have to leave until I allow you in, etc. So I've had them come and I've had them leave, and then I've reinvited them in to work with them in other cases. But so that they have come in the bad aliens have come in. Now the good aliens have come in also, and this sometimes even feels like an angelic kind of a frequency where it's overwhelming love and heart pouring love. And it's a family ancestral feeling. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm home. So there's been tears and heartfelt, oh, wow, this is where I belong feelings. And so they're really all over the board. I don't think that there's a feeling. So I want to make that kind of clear too.
Well, and I find, I think it's a couple things that I find very interesting is I think that when you're talking about that sort of thing, are you saying that kind of like with spirit as well, that if you're the wherewithal of mind, if you're feeling threatened by something like that, it could be, a bad alien or whatever else, like you would with a spirit, you could just be like, you can leave.
Yep.
Get out.
Well, you always, as a human, in my opinion, always have command. And we are universal sovereign beings, but we also have to know well enough that we are and that we can command that, but we have to believe in the command. If we're just flapping some words out and, being kind of silly what we see on TV without the command behind it, and it's all fear-based, it's not going to work. So love is always the key in terms of that command. Self-love.
Well, and I think, yes, and also you're absolutely right. You have to actually have that belief behind it. It's beyond words. Absolutely. I want to do this. Why don't we go ahead and take our first break? When we come back, got some more questions. We're talking about some fairly heavy things here. So if you have questions, put them in the comments. Suzanne will be able to answer them, I'm pretty darn sure. And this is a great conversation. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. You know, I say this a number of times a week, and I hope that some of you are taking notice and following my polite direction here of going and taking part in the Minneapolis Trolley Tours. My gosh, it's so much fun. We're talking about the ghost tours, going around Minneapolis and checking out these locations that are have a lot of ghost stories to them. But there are so many other tours that they do over there. I really suggest going out there. The weather is nice. I mean, first of all, if you go on a hot day like this, the trolleys are air conditioned. If you go when it gets cooler, first of all, it's beautiful, and those will be heated. And the 300 Clifton Mansion is beautiful. I think they're moving into the Pillsbury Mansion here a little bit, so we'll be able to update you on that. And I've been in that place, and it is phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. So do yourself a favor. Go out to the Minneapolis Trolley Tours. Go to MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. And when you go and sign up, please let them know that you heard about them through us on GhostBox Radio. We have a fantastic episode tonight. We have with us Suzanne Worthley. And Suzanne is a number of things. She's an energy practitioner, intuitive. She's a healer. She's an author. You know, we've been talking a lot about healing and stuff. And Suzanne, are you taking on more people for healing sessions and stuff?
I mean, I always am. I've had so many new people lately. Actually, I think it's super fun. I think from my books being out, more and more people are finding me. But also, Greg, I think people are waking up. I think people are starting to realize, you know, holy crap, this is not what we think it is out here. And I have never had so many newbies, which I love because they do that light bulb moment where they're starting to understand that, you know, there are other realms, there are other dimensions, and there are other timelines, and there are multiple timelines, and it's crazy stuff. And they are just thirsty for more. And I really love that you have a show that really gives them some concrete good tools and information, because there's a lot of garbage on social media right now. And a lot of people are learning about spirituality on TikTok. Not that I'm knocking it, but you know, there's really some things that are important to learn about, foundational things about other realms, and it's mostly protection, as you know, and that's not for fear, that's for your own fuel and discernment. And, you know, there's beauty out there. There's wonderful, amazing, you know, beings out there of light. And we've been fortunate enough to break into that. And I love being able to talk about it for others. It's cool.
That is great. Now, for those of you who are listening tonight and you want to just know more about Suzanne, you need to go over to sworthley.com. That's SWORTHLEY.com. And over there, now you had a bunch, I'm over on your Facebook page. You had a bunch of different links and stuff. And I see that pretty much that's going to be your starting point. Go to sworthley.com.
Yep.
From there, you can check out the books, events, and all that good stuff as well.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, please, folks, go and check it out, and go and check out the books that she has written. I mean, this is some really, really good stuff.
Can I jump in? I'm just in the final layout of my third book, so I'm super excited, and we'll have to get together after that one launches in a month here. I'm self-publishing, so it'll come out super fast. So.
That's fantastic. I was just going to say, do you want to come on and talk about it when you're ready?
Yeah. We're doing, I'm doing it through Amazon self-publishing instead of going the traditional route because I wanted to get it out quickly because it's all about the alien realm and all of the work that I do in the grids that I don't talk about. So it literally is all of the things I've never shared because it's really tough stuff. And it's the mission, the off-planet missions that I've done for most of my career, my work, not my client work, my own Suzanne work. And so these are the things that I didn't even tell my own family. My sister read the rough draft and said, it was one of those.
Lisa did that?
No, not Lisa. My older sister,
I was going to say, because Lisa would know, right?
Lisa knows most of it, but she's quite a bit younger than me, remember? And so a lot of this happened in my childhood before she was even on the planet. Plus, she doesn't do the work that I do. So she's never really done, she doesn't go into the multiverses and work with the light beings. She doesn't do that. So it was it's something very different. It's completely different than my first two.
When you talk about all these, all the stuff, all the timelines, everything else, and you're kind of spouting them off like, this is just, a Tuesday
Normal
evening.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any issue with keeping everything straight, or is this just how your brain is
yeah, I forget sometimes that people don't have the same language. I did it just today. In fact, I was throwing a luncheon for my 91-year-old mother with all of her friends, and some of the drivers are my age, and we were talking, and I did it just even today. They lost track. I can see their face. I lose their face. And it's like, oops, I just stepped over that line of, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So it's a natural thing for me, and I do my best to be careful with that. But it is just the world that I came here with in my head and in my brain and how I see things, and whatever comes out that way. I do my best to usually watch it, but sometimes I just go.
I find that interesting because I think that's a great way for folks like myself to learn, actually, because sometimes you just can't necessarily just like, here's a book about, all the stuff that you can't put that in a book. And I
tried. I'm really, really pushing this book to say, this is what alien work, quantum work looks like. And I don't mean alien like the beings. I mean alien off-planet, multi-dimensional timeline work. This is really big stuff that people don't even talk about, much less have any idea. And so I did my best this time to really give descriptions, talking about what it looks like, what it feels like, what it's done to my body. It's been I cried for like 3 days after I handed it off to the final edit, because it was really a purge. It was very vulnerable, and it was like birthing a whole story that I've never told. So
it's almost self-help for you in a way.
Yeah. And just a release to say, I'm done with this project. Many of us starseeds is what we call ourselves, the ones that work with the alien realms. Many of us starseeds come to this planet with a mission. And I knew my mission when I was a child. I was 8 years old. That's how the book starts. I was 8 years old looking in the mirror, and I blatantly heard, you're here on mission. We'll activate you when it's time. And I understood that at 8. And so it's been really a long, many year, journey of doing this so-called galactic work. And now now I'm kind of feeling retired.
Well, and that's, and I've asked you this question before, so folks don't think I'm trying to be rude to Suzanne when I say this. It's like, do you identify as completely human?
No. I probably think that I have some hybridness to me because of the fact when I was 7 years old and 6 and 7, when I was working with the aliens, I had a blood disease that was deadly, and they never knew what it was. And the aliens said, we're working on your blood. And so I know my blood is different. It won't show up in a blood test, but I know my blood is different. And then another verification of that was many years later. I went to Peru, and a shaman from the hills came up to me, and he looked right at me, never met me before, and said, you have different blood. And I said, yes, I do. It doesn't mean it's green. Doesn't mean I pull my head off and I'm an alien under here. But I mean, really remember, most all of us humans are hybrid to some extent, right? Our DNA has just been played with forever. But I do honestly believe that there's starseeds that come to this planet just for the mission and then don't come back. And that's what I think I am. I think I'm just a one and done. I think I came for the ascension process. I think I came for this mission that I'm talking about. And you do have a different knowledge base. You have an architectural knowledge base. I know the hologram. I understand the hologram. I understand the dimensions. And so it is different. It's just different.
So when you say one and done, one life on Earth, and then you're off onto wherever you go to next.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. No, I could certainly see that. It's so interesting. And you also bring up the fact that, that you think that there's a lot of hybrids on Earth. And I think you're right as well. I think you and I know a couple, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
We won't name names, but
there's just a lot of people. I mean, we're not what we think we are anyway. It's just all so silly. There's so much illusion on this planet and so much memory loss. My goal is to do some igniting of memory and igniting of cell structures in people by teaching or talking. And if it ignites, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. And hi, Shar. And to really understand that these are normal things. Nobody's that different. We're all the same. We're just all, different fractals, right?
Is this a rethinking of how we think of aliens? And I know I'm still talking about aliens on a preschool level compared to you. Okay, we get that out of the way. But are we looking at aliens completely wrong? The general population of Earth, as they come and visit occasionally, or they're around, or maybe they're doing so. But it is more the association, the relationship of that energy with Earth is much closer and bigger than. It seems like only very few that we know of really know, like yourself, for example.
Yeah, they've always been here. They will always be here. They've been here before us, during us, after us. It's always been. They are just different. And whether some are inner Earth and off planet or not, maybe they are, cloaked or look different when they're here. It just doesn't matter. I mean, everybody comes from the stars. We are all alien to some extent. But, some of my memories are very, very much about specific alien interactions when the aliens were on planet working in concert with the humans. And this was a time period that we screwed up as humans because our egos got in the way and we messed things up with, soul contracts, etc. But we were very, very teamed in terms of the cosmos coming to our planet all the time. The Stargate portals were open. The interdimensional transports were open. Everything was Star Wars. It was really common. And then, good old humans, we get our ego in the way and we all want to be gods instead of be of gods. And so it's messy.
When you talk ego, and I was thinking about this when you were just talking, and I'm not saying any political party or anything. I'm saying politics as a thing that happened on this planet, people owning big businesses, people having these, trying to have power of any kind. Is that stuff pretty irrelevant to what the purpose, the real purpose is for aliens with this planet?
Well, the aliens can't for many, many years, we were a really enslaved planet. I mean, we were netted. We couldn't, the actual light beings couldn't even come in to assist us for a really long time because the dark agenda literally went into the holographic universe and didn't allow that, and had some trapped on planet and most trapped off planet. So we were an enslaved planet for many, 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 many eons. And we're just now getting back on balance in our, I always say it's like a Jenga game. The Jenga pieces were taken out and inverted and wobbly. And we're just starting to put that Jenga back together. Now the light quotients are big enough that the alien beings are being able to show up. We have lots more craft. We have lots more sighting. We have lots more contact. We have lots more memories. We have a lot of people awakening. We are having a lot of the brainwashing wear off from the people that were taken and abducted. So this is coming really fast and furious. What I do get scared about is people are uneducated and they allow themselves to go into the fear of thinking all aliens are those gray aliens that are the bad ones and they're all going to take us and abduct us. And that is not the case. That's not the case of anything that I've worked with. And even when the grays of the reptilians came, they still are beings that were workable in terms of a relationship. So we're being set up for a lot of this stuff. And that's what scares me the most.
It feels like I've been saying this for years. It does feel like we're kind of doing this, right? Like we're getting to a point, whatever that, I don't know what that point is, but it feels like, to your point, what you exactly just said, that we are, that more and more people are not only experiencing it, but they're just becoming more open to the possibility of it.
Yes.
My same fear is one of how, when we're in lockdown, we argue over toilet paper. How are we going to, accept something that's on such a bigger scale that can be scary because we don't know it, and it doesn't need to be scary.
And what's so important right now, Greg, is that people educate themselves some way, shape, or form that aligns with their inner knowing. Meaning, don't just read something on the internet and think it's true. Don't just listen to something and think it's, all true either. Use your body, right? I mean, that's what I write and teach about, is use your body. You know that from paranormal. So we are being set up even by the dark agenda, and even, I'm sorry to say, our government, in terms of a really, really possibility of having a fake alien invasion. And a fake alien invasion is going to justify all of the war money. It's going to justify the war councils. It's going to justify all the stuff, all the stuff about, let's just twist our heads up and make it all scary, and we're going to save you, So this is part of what I wrote about in the book. Part of the work that I came here to do was to get rid of the savior program. And we're still in the middle of it. Savior meaning the government, the medicine, the education, whatever, the religion. I mean, all a savior program. The aliens are not here to save us. We are here to save ourselves. They are our future. They are our past. They are our concurrent. They aren't here to come and save this planet. That is our job. And so I think a lot of people are thinking they're either the savior or they are the big boom,
Absolutely. And when you're saying, like, you gotta, if you're reading something, you got to kind of figure out for yourself. Are you saying, like, it needs to kind of resonate with you when you read it, that there's a point that you're just kind of like, no, that makes sense. I get this.
It's called discernment. And the more that somebody works on, that's what my second book is about, is the empathing. The more that you work on your own field and you are really intimate with your own vibrational frequency of truth without all the crap in there, right? The more that you let go of belief systems that are not yours, you walk and you exist in, and you look at life and present in a field of resonance. And if that field of resonance is all truth, then when you come across something, you're going to go, nope, or wow, that's it. And so this is your truth barometer, but gosh, we're not taught to even do that. So we're behind the eight ball.
That was my next question, is that are we, like, it's so easy to say, well, you just read it, see if it resonates with you. What you're saying, though, do you have to do work to get to that stage? Because to me, it doesn't seem like that. If someone's just like, yeah, okay, well, that's what I'm going to start doing now, it feels like there needs to be work that leads up to that point.
I think that is what the spiritual work is. And again, spirituality and religion is two different things. The spiritual path is everything in terms of, why am I here? What am I doing? What is the purpose of me even here? And that is all about discernment. My spiritual path is nothing like yours, et cetera, right? None of us are here for the same purpose, other than the grand purpose of being here on behalf of source energy for an experience, so it can know itself. But other than that, we all have individualized, fractalized reasons for coming here. So think of God's source as a big, huge energy, and we're all fractal. So our prismatic ideas of things are all going to be different, right?
Absolutely.
So for us to get to know, why am I here? What is this about, is critical for us to go, that's a bunch of crap, or that's a real truth. So
that's so good. I mean, honestly, that is so good. And it seems it's so obvious, but we don't do it. A lot of us don't do it.
No, they don't. And people are so scared to question or be wrong. Failure is the biggest thing I work on a lot with my clients. There is no fail, in my opinion. Why are you failing? Just do it again. Try something else. So we're so worried to step out of our comfort zone and our box of, what I know, because God forbid I might not know something and I might not be right. That's also silly.
It is. I mean, and I'm an expert at being wrong on stuff. So, I mean, I've had 51 years of on work related experience on that. So, there you go.
That's good. I'm proud of you.
It is, right? Because it also, not only being able to say you're wrong, it actually allows you to, I think it gives you empathy. I think it gives you all sorts of things to be able to not have a barrier up of thinking, don't want people to think that you don't know everything. Because I think walking in a room pretty much saying, you know what, I don't know anything. Let's work together, I think is a great discernment. Honestly. Well,
the more you learn, the less you know, because you're always asking more questions and opening more boxes, right? I mean, that's the whole point.
Absolutely.
So gosh, how boring it would be if we knew everything.
Right. Absolutely. Even though some people think that they do.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing. Suzanne, let's go ahead, take our second break. When we come back, there are comments that I have not gotten to yet that I said, put your questions in the comments. And I've been totally taking all of Suzanne's time. We're going to get to those and everything else. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to do one question readings with Refined Divine Deb. She'll be joining us tomorrow, and we can talk about getting readings about just, not full readings. We're just doing one question readings. If you have questions about loved ones or money or whatever else, that's perfect for that sort of situation. Join us tomorrow. It's always a lot of fun to have Deb on and Dave as well. And you can call in tomorrow as well with your questions. Now, breaking news. That just happened just a couple hours ago today. I am going to be appearing this Saturday over at the Refined Divine Holistic Expo. That's going to be in Mankato this Saturday, the 20th. It starts at 10 and goes till 5. I'm also a speaker on Saturday as well. I'm going to be speaking at 11:30. I will be talking about Spirit Box. I will be playing some recordings that I have recorded over the years, some really good stuff. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be over at the Country Inn and Suites, 1900 Premier Drive in Mankato. We'll be talking about this throughout the week as well. $5 admission. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see some of you out there. It's always fun to set up a table and talk about Spirit Box. So please come out and join us. We are in our last segment. We are talking with Energy Practitioner, intuitive healer, and author Suzanne Worthley. And what a fantastic conversation. I'm seeing in the comments, Suzanne, people are just like, you're helping us. This is great. You're touching on areas that I think people deep down, I know my audience, people deep down have felt, but they don't know, and they're learning. And I think what you're giving them is exactly what they need.
Good. I'm glad. I'm really glad, because this is a tough realm to get your head around when you're just stepping in. Can I jump in and say one thing specifically, because you haven't asked it, and I think I want to get this out because we go so fast in this show. When we work with aliens beings, I think a lot of us perceive that, oh my goodness, I'm going to look around the corner and I'm going to see one of those gray aliens, or I'm going to see a lizard, or I'm going to see a whatever. a lot of the aliens that I work with are simply light, literally light beings. And oftentimes when we're seeing them like that, they're cloaked to come into this realm, right? And so if you are entering this galactic alien realm, remember, a lot of it can just be light and frequency and plasma and geometrics. This is how I see a lot of the alien realm. And when I go on a ship, I go on a ship in my telepathy and I astral travel and I can see it and I can feel it, but I don't necessarily go on the ship by being abducted. I go, right? Yep. I mean, this is part of my work that I do. And I have brought many, not many, but a good amount of clients onto ship to do work as well. And it feels sometimes like you're in a MRI machine. It feels like when they work on you, you're being scanned a lot. So there's really similar things to what we do on this earth that feel like, oh, this is earth stuff, but it also can be alien stuff. So be open to what you're feeling if you're having experiences and meditations. Don't have a prejudgment of what you think the alien realm looks like or feels like or comes off like.
Well, and you're right. I mean, don't look at everything. Everything can't be looked at through an earth lens, right?
Right.
That's fantastic information, because, that's one of the things that I really get sick of, people who don't want to believe, and I do believe they do not want to believe. Yeah. And they're like, how did they get here? You take a ship, 1,000 years to get here, all that BS. And you're missing the point. Yeah. And that's the problem with, like, you can't apply anything from earth science to this situation.
No, not at all. And we're absolutely ignorant and silly if we don't think our governments and our secret space programs know all this stuff. They've known it forever. I mean, this has been stuff nothing is new about any of this, these interdimensional beings. And you mentioned Bigfoot too. I did some work on Bigfoot recently in Sedona. And by the way, if I can slip in, I always thought Bigfoot was a 2D dimensional being. And it's not. It's a galactic. It's a full-blown galactic. I channeled one for a good amount of time. And it comes from the realms of 6 and 7 dimensions, which is really high up. And that shocked me. I was absolutely blown away. I'm like, I was completely wrong. So, these beings are everywhere. They're all over the place.
I won't bore listeners again with the experience that Shar and I have had a number of times.
That's right.
But you're absolutely right, and it's life changing, and I look at that as a privilege, to be perfectly honest, to be able to have that experience and to be able to experience it as well. You talk about frequency. When wanting to channel alien energy, do you use frequency? I can't imagine it. I imagine that you might do something completely different, but where does frequency fit in all that?
I just step back. It's very similar to like when I used to work at the Palmer House and do a lot of channeling and full body channeling. In my Suzanne body, step back and let my templates, my auric field templates move forward. And I run a lot of that through those templates. And so like if I'm changing or my body is morphing or changing, that's happening in my auric fields. When I actually channel verbally, I just tap in and come. It's almost like an elevator, and it feels like if that being is at this level and I'm going this way and opening, and then click, I hit, and then it can just come through. And I know I'm full channeling when I learn from myself. I can hear my own self. Like that's what I heard with the Bigfoot thing. Is I was astounded. I didn't know that they were from 6 and 7, and so that's fun for me because then I know it's real. Because I'm learning from myself of sorts, right?
That's really interesting. Now, Shar says Suzanne is the frequency.
I do hold a higher frequency. I do. I hold that electric frequency, and so that is part of the starseed attribute. I have a I wreck a lot of electronics. I stop clocks. I do a lot of crazy stuff with my field. So yeah, it's a higher frequency.
Or when you're doing breath in and breath out, that's at a frequency I've never heard either, to be perfectly honest. That's like, what on earth is happening? And I'm not trying to be funny or rude. But when you're not expecting it, I think people might be like, what is that? But it's this is seeing something unique.
And my breath, actually, when I go in that deep with my breath, that's when the elevator floors change. I can go down into inner earth breath, and I can go up off of planet, and I can go way out. So my breath is another tool that brings me to the frequencies. So yeah.
Fantastic.
It sounds like a dragon though.
It does, but that's okay.
Yeah.
God, you and I could talk for hours.
We got to do a 3-hour show instead of just
a 3-hour show. We just got to find someone to sponsor us, and maybe the Palmer household. Oh no, they won't. Not me, at least. Anyway, let me find. I promise I'd get some questions on here. Let's see, because so many people have been commenting, which is amazing. I want to make sure that I had. There's one in Sunbrook had a question. And let's see here. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to paraphrase it. Let's see. Okay, Sunnybrook says, are spirit entities aware of alien presence?
I would believe so, because they're just a different embodiment of source energy. And so, and remember, these are layers of density. They're planes of existence. They're planes of reality. And so when we were traversing different planes, we're seeing different beings. And oftentimes, remember, guys, we are the alien. We're the alien to the alien. I mean, think of how goofy we look, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really critical that we start to understand that a lot of aliens look very human, because a lot of aliens are humanoid. They're not what we think they are in the silly movies. We need to be much more aware that there is so many alien realms that are humanoid. And then there's the crazy ones. Like I've seen them, with a body and then a fish head. I mean, I've seen crazy combinations, half animal, half not. A lot of insectoids, many insectoids. The praying mantis people I've seen many times. The ant people are extremely powerful, and they come in and they do a lot of DNA work. And so these beings come in oftentimes, but remember, for me as a worker and a practitioner, they're coming into my telepathic realm to do the work on my clients that are laying on a healing table. So they're my partners in crime, partners in healing, right? I mean, that's what they are.
Now, speaking on very simple terms to this question, with spirit entities aware of alien presence, I would suspect, correct me if I'm wrong, that those would be spirits, though, that have crossed over, opposed to spirits that have not, because I find, at least in my communication with them, that they almost they probably realize that they have passed, but they don't. They still think of themselves in an earthly sort of way.
I mean, spirits alone, we could do a 3-hour show on the different frequencies and levels of spirits. But I don't necessarily, I think that the alien realm looks at all of it. I don't think that they're privy or not privy to certain things. I think that they're probably perfectly aware of hauntings as much as we are when we have skills and look into that. I think that they can know ghost energy. They can know spirit energy. They certainly can know angelic energy. I don't know if alien realms actually work with the angel realms for healing. I've not heard of that, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't. They're certainly on intergalactic councils. I mean, These people are all crossovers on councils. So why wouldn't we be in communication with them?
No, that makes a lot of sense. We have about 4 minutes left. And Linda asked the question, do you use telepathy a lot?
That's full. I'm a full telepath. That's all I do.
Except right now.
Why? In my normal Suzanne life, no. Well, that's not true either. Yes, I'm a full telepath.
Wouldn't that be great that it's just an hour of nothing, just you and I staring at each other, and people like, what's going on? Well, you can't hear
Lord.
it. You can't hear it, then you don't need to hear it then.
Yeah. Didn't you get that message? Yes, I love being telepathic. I'm very grateful for it. I mean, it helps me in a lot of ways. It also exhausts me if I'm not careful, because I'm a full body empath also. So it's really, telepathy. I don't walk around with it all day long. I don't look into people's bodies. That's unethical. I don't go into their brains. I don't do that. But I do it for a lot of things, tapping in to make sure truths are there.
Yeah, I've had it before where I've had I could feel mediums, a couple mediums. I could name them off the top of my head. I won't. One is a local one, actually, that you could just feel like that they're kind of inside you a little bit. They're checking you out, and it's like, you shouldn't be doing that.
That's not ethical unless you have I will say I will check to an extent just for my own safety, and I'll do a read, but I won't go into anybody's business, because that's just not right. And then you have karmic return on that. You don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, no, it was really and for those who might be like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. It's not. It's actually very it's trespassing. You feel it. You feel you do feel like you are being invaded a little bit.
It's invasive. It's
invasive. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yep.
You should host this. I can't find the words to do it well. So someone needs to be able to do this, right? So your next book, which sounds amazing, that's coming out. You said
it should be within the next month and a half. So I'm super excited.
Lynn says, do you know your big sister is watching you?
What the heck? That's my sister up in Alaska. Hi, Lynn. Lynn is the sister that read my rough draft of the book and said, "Wow, now I know I have a different sister I wasn't even aware of." I guess
hadn't been able to sleep since. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Do you have any events coming up that you want to talk about?
I have pulled back on the events because I was determined to get this book done. So I have pulled back. I did do Peru this year. I'm not doing it next year, but I will do it either in the fall of next year or the first part of 27. I'm staying away from Sedona right now. It's just a little messy in my opinion. So I'm not doing that. But no, I'm really concentrating on getting this new one out because I think it's time that people know the alien stories. And so we
even got Lisa listening and watching whatever tonight. Whatever.
What the heck? It's a family affair.
It's a family affair. It's how nice everyone's here. My family.
That's because they like you, Greg.
It's not because of me. I can guarantee that much. Let's see. With that being said, once again, folks, find out more about Suzanne. It's going to be worth your time to do so. Go to sworthley.com and, schedule a healing session as well. Do whatever you need to do, but it's going to be worth your time.
Or at least get on my mailing list so you can see when the new book comes out. That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea, actually. Please do so. And we're going to get her back on when she's ready to talk about the book and everything else. Suzanne, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
I really enjoy you. Thank you.
And we'll be back tomorrow with One Question Readings. Everyone, have a fantastic night.
Thanks.